So let's work on some extended problems for this linear equation stuff. So one kind of problem that you might encounter is when they say, hey, you've got this slope and this point. What's the equation for the line through this point? Now, if that's a y-intercept that they give you, that's easy because the y-intercept tells you the b value. For example, if they want a line with slope 3 and through the point 0, 5, well, this is just the y-intercept. So our line is y equals 3x plus 5. Now, what if they weren't so nice and gave us a point that's not a y-intercept? What if they said slope 3 and then point 1, 5? Well, we could try to graph this and try to estimate it that way. So maybe 1, 5, and slope 3 maybe looks something like that. So whatever that is, well, take a lot of time to draw a nice graph for this. So maybe that's not the best method. Maybe we should just solve for it algebraically. Yeah, that way we can know for sure like what this intercept is. So we know our slope is 3, so we've got y equals mx plus b. Slope is 3, so m is 3, so y equals 3x plus b. And we still need to figure out what b is. So how can we do that? Well, we know we've got a point that's on the line, so if we plug in 1 for x and 5 for y, this equation better makes sense. So let's plug in 5 for y. Got 5 equals 3 times 1 plus b, so 5 equals 3 plus b, so 2 equals b. Cool. So then we're done. Our equation is just y equals 3x plus 2. Yeah, that seems like a pretty reasonable estimate. If this is 2 and that's 5. So our graph wasn't that bad in hindsight, I guess. Okay, now let's do one more kind of trickier question. Now, here they gave us the slope. Sometimes they'll just give us 2 points and want us to find the equation just from 2 points, which is harder because we don't know the slope and we probably don't know the y-intercept either unless they give us a point with the y-intercept. So let's try that. So what if it's like find equation of line through -8, 2 and 1, 3, something like that. So I think maybe just so we know our answer makes sense at the end, and as we're working through it, let's draw a graph just to see what this thing is going to look like. So -8, 2 is something maybe around here, and 1, 3 is something about here. So it's this line with slightly positive slope, and the y-intercept, well, the y-intercept should be positive. All right. So first, well, let's find the slope. So the slope is just the change, how much we go up every step over. So we can find that by just taking the total steps up, dividing it by the total steps over. So what's the total steps up? Well, we're going up, and the difference between 3, this y-coordinate is at 3, this one's at 2, so there's a difference of 1. And then how much over? Well, this one is at -8, this one is at 1, and then the distance from -8 to 1, just go -8 to 0 is 8, and then 0 to 1 is 1, so altogether 9. So the slope then, every time if you're going 9 over and then you end up going 1, the slope is then 1/9, because every time you're going 1/9 of the way up. So m equals 1/9. And then it's kind of like the previous problem. We've got the slope and then we're solving for the y-intercept. So y equals 1/9 x plus b. Let's plug in a point. We could plug in any point, either of these. I'd probably prefer to plug in that one because it's smaller numbers and it's no negative shenanigans going on here. So why don't we take this 3 equals 1/9 times 1 plus b. 3 equals 1/9 plus b. Then 2 and 8/9 equals b. So that's our y-intercept. So then we've got y equals 1/9 x plus 2 and 8/9. That's our answer. And that matches up with what we see on the graph. That looks about right.